All right, everybody. So today we're going to be doing Niagara effects. Sorry, the chat's just been amusing right now. So Niagara is a particle effects system for Unreal Engine. There's an older particle effects system called Cascadia, but we don't talk about it because it sucks. So, yeah, see ya, Raymond. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all make a Niagara system. Not a system. We want to make a Niagara emitter first, probably. We are FX Niagara emitter, and we're gonna make a new emitter. And they have a bunch of they have a bunch of pre-built ones, which are pretty nice. The dynamic beam allows you to do like laser beams and stuff like that. That must be new. Confetti burst. I don't remember that from before. Maybe we could do that. It's kind of cool. Directional burst, fountain. Both of these I use a lot. Hanging particles. Yeah, maybe we'll just start with that. We'll start with something simple, and then maybe we'll make like a flamethrower or something afterwards. So let's start with hanging particulates. Click on that. I'm going to call this one sparkly fog _ Niagara emitter NE. Hit return, open it up, and of course we start off by saving. And when you have a Niagara emitter, you can see over here there's a preview window. You can see that there's these like little particles like hanging in the air, kind of like like dust basically by default. It's the template that you get. But the important thing is here on the screen we've got this thing called Sparkly Fog NE, and the way that this works is whenever you have an Niagara emitter, it creates a particle effect, like an explosion or smoke, or you can do really wild things with it too, like water and stuff like that too. Here we're having little dust particles in the air. The way that it works is you evaluate this thing from the top down. So you can click. I'm going to minimize my face, get out of the way here. If you click on the whole thing, it actually has each one of these things is kind of like a tab. But if you click on the whole thing, you can actually see all of those tabs that I clicked on over here appear. So when you click on the whole thing, it just shows all of the tabs all at once. If you want to just highlight one of them, you just click on them. And so typically when I work on a Niagara system, I'm going to just go through it one tab at a time from the top down, because that's how the Unreal Engine parses it. It kind of evaluates it from the top down. So the first thing is CPU emitter properties. You can have particle effects simulated in the CPU. However, your GPU is typically much more powerful than the CPU. And so one of the first things I almost always do, not always, but almost always, is switch it over to GPU. And what that's going to do is have your graphics card handle all the physics on all the little, motes of dust in the air instead of the CPU doing it, which is slower. Now, what you'll see, though, is you'll see that it gives you a little warning. You click on that, and let's see, auto fix. There's usually an auto fix. If not, then we're just going to use fixed here. And the warning turns off. And so this will tell you that the particle effect takes place within a 1 meter cubed. CPU effects don't have to be bounded. If you're using the GPU, it has to take place within a boundary. This might be a problem if we have like a large room, but we can come back and revisit this later. So first thing I did was click on properties, switch it from CPU to GPU. That'll help with our frame rate. And then you have to change it to fixed boundaries instead of dynamic. Okay. And then we will go on to the next tab, the emitter spawn. And so emitter update. So emitter spawn takes place the first time the particle effect system activates. And there's nothing in this, so cool. Emitter update means every frame. Every frame, the emitter is gonna think about life and its purpose in life and its meaning, what it's doing. And basically every frame, it's gonna kind of like update. And you can do things like here, it has an infinite loop. So you could have a particle effect like an explosion that triggers once and then it's done for the motes of dust in the air. we want it to just be an ongoing, infinite kind of thing. And so you can see here, it is a infinite loop that cycles every 2 seconds. And that's fine. Inactive response, let's kill the emitter, particles die, continue. Just leave that as a default. Spawn rate, so it's going to spawn 50 particles every frame. And what we can do is we can up that. Let's increase it by a level of magnitude. You can see that now we are getting a lot more like bits of dust in the air. And if we turn it up even higher, another order of magnitude, then it can get quite I don't know, somebody who has allergies would probably start itching themselves with all the pollen in the air right now. So, yeah. It's like snow almost, except it's not falling, right? It's just hovering in the air. So basically, every frame, the emitter update is going to be creating 5,000 new little particles of dust in the air. Now, particle spawn means for each one of these particles of dust, once. Particle spawn means when that particle of dust is created, do something one time. Okay? And so for each one of these 5,000 particles, one time it's going to do something. The initialized particle selects how many seconds the particle is going to live. It's going to randomly choose between 5 seconds and 8 seconds. If you have it just flat 1 second, you will see that all 5,000 end at the same second. And so that's a different sort of effect than probably what you were expecting. So having them all be random makes it look a little bit more authentic. You know, did it crash? Did it crash? Did we crash? No. So between 1 and 8 seconds, so you can see particles will fade away on average a little bit faster. The overall density is not quite as dense as before, but if you follow one of the dots, it'll kind of like fade away, right? And if you set the maximum lifetime to like 2 seconds, you'll see, again, that kind of like sparkling effect. So it's creating 5,000 particles a second. The particles last between 1 and 2 seconds randomly. You'd still see that kind of like flickering kind of thing, which maybe is what you want, maybe it's not what you want. I don't know. You have to tell me. So one of the fun things about Niagara is you just play with it. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe it's not what I want for a dusty room, but you know, maybe I want blinking lights, you know, on a computer that are flashing on and off or something like that. I can save that for a later day. So as it is, I'm gonna just put this back up to 8 seconds, and so we're gonna have particles, some of which will vanish immediately, some of which will not. The color is currently set to white, which looks a little weird. Dust doesn't exactly look like dust to me. So we could do like maybe a random range, and so some of them are lighter, some of them are darker. Random hue, saturation value, and so we can go from -1, +1. Frozen? 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 Thinking about it. Oh, one of the things that you can have fun with this stuff. All right. Just particle. There we go. Okay, there you go. So it was linking all the channels together, so it was always grayscale. So now we can get random colored particles. So you can have some red ones and some pink ones and some green ones. And you can specify the range you want to have, but that looks kind of cool. It's like confetti floating in the air. Party pollen. Trees are giving off pollen like this. If you have allergies, you just want to run, I think. It's like normal pollen, just worse. That's kind of cool. Kind of like that. Might bring it down a little bit. It's a little less variance. Yeah. I want to have a little bit. Yeah, you can see that. There's a little bit of a tinge to it now. Like they're all pretty white, but some of them are more green, more red. That's kind of what I was going for. Okay. Position node. Mass node. Okay. So next up is the size of the sprites. So you can see some of these dots are bigger than others. And so you can make size 20. You get these giant pieces of pollen, or size 1, or a giant mix of them. So some of them are tiny, some of them are large. And again, you can just sit there and just kind of play with these effects until you get something that you think looks pretty good. Or you just have all of them be microscopic. So that's kind of a different look too. Right? Just little tiny little flecks of dust in the air. You know. I like that. I kind of like that. A little bit of color to them. It's a little bit more interesting than just white. White looks kind of weird. Maybe gold would be better. I don't know. Okay. Sprite rotation doesn't matter. It's a sphere. You can tell how many particles are running right now. Mesh scale doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So then spawn rate is 5,000. Initialized particle shape location. Okay. So it is going to be, if I zoom out, you can see that all of these particles are appearing within that box, right? So whatever volume it is, it's a box. And you can actually see it almost like you can see the outline of the box that it's spawning, because I'm spawning so many parameters, so many particles. So if I give it like a plane, then it'll come up out of, a surface like that. So I got 5,000 particles there. You do a cylinder, and it'll appear in a cylinder shape, and you can adjust the height and the radius and all that kind of stuff of it. Sphere, of course, you can have a spherical zone of particles, which could be useful if you're doing like a gas grenade or something like that. That could be fun. Like when the maybe that'll be what I'm going to use it for. Maybe that's what I can use it for. It's like when we have our grenade, when it explodes, we could have it like emit a cloud of gas or something like that. This doesn't look exactly right. Like smoke grenades don't look like this. Let's see if we can make something different. A torus is a donut. Right? It's a gaseous donut. That, ring or a disc. Now this I've used before for like quest zones and things like that. It's like I'll make like a disc, and that's like the area where you have to like cache in a quest. You can make the particles fly up and make it a very kind of beautiful looking like quest zone, or use it for targeting a spell effect, things like that. Cone, obviously cone. So I want a gas grenade. Maybe, probably just a box, I guess, is good enough. Box size 4 meters by 4 meters by 2.6 meters. I guess that's fine. Just leave it at that. Okay, so emitter spawn runs once when the emitter is created. Emitter update runs every frame, and it creates particles. Particle spawn runs once when the particle is created. Then particle update runs every frame on every particle. So you can see you're going to be doing a lot of math on your GPU, because we have 22,000 particles that are all running. Would this stuff work better than the spawn emitter BP we've been using? Yes. The old system is what we've been using for those little explosions and things like that. Those things are called the Cascadia system, and they're basically pre-baked particle effects. With Niagara, they're actually much more flexible. Like you can design it however you want, and have the colors and the size and all this stuff is just infinitely customizable. But also, there's a lot of you can tie them to your blueprints. So, for example, you could have the grenade control the size of the cloud that comes out. It is very cool to play with. And so, like, if I'm gonna make a gas grenade, I'm kind of maybe I'm gonna have them just hang around a little bit longer, like 5 to 8, and then I'll make the sprite sizes bigger, like 10 to 15 or something like that. That's gonna obscure, that's gonna obscure vision if I do that. Okay, maybe I can even maybe I don't want it to loop, right? If I'm gonna have this be my grenade, right? The thing explodes, gas comes out. I don't want it to loop, right? I want it to just play one time. So I'm going to say just once on this. So one time it's going to create particles. Loop duration 2 seconds. That doesn't matter anymore. Life cycle. That's fine. Inactive response. So let particles finish. And then once they're done, then the thing goes away. Okay. So spawn rate. So it's going to be spawning for a couple seconds at least. And then they're going to drift away. So it's going to spit out gas for probably 2 seconds. And then the gas, I just want the gas kind of hovering there for a while. Initialize particles. So we'll have the gas last a little bit longer, 10 seconds to 20 seconds maybe. Maybe even 30 or something like that. I don't know. We'll play with it. See how this works. So it's right. And then over the span of 30 seconds, you can see the fog slowly dissipates, and then it's done. Okay. Maybe I want this to be a little more green. Like if we're doing like gas, like poison gas, like maybe I want the green levels up a little bit more here. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe it's a little too green. Dial it back a little bit. But on average, the particles will be more green than not. Okay, I like that. All right, maybe we'll cap the red a little bit, cap the blue a little bit. Now we just get green. Maybe that's too green. This to 0.8. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. The 0 is nice. I love it. Kind of the same thing, but blue particles. Okay, so moving on. So we're spawning them in a box. Interesting. So do you want the gas appearing more on the outside or more on the inside? That's pretty cool. Still don't know. Maybe a box is looking better. So, like we're just gonna fill it. It's gonna look weird, but maybe I won't worry about that. Okay, moving on. So particle state, kill particles when lifetime is up. You definitely want that. So after a particle hits the end of its lifetime, you want it deleted, and then the particles are gonna like, are they? Or are they not moving now? Shows particle 1030. Why are they not decreasing? Particle state, kill particles from lifetime. Unchain this because it's supposed to go in. Is the preview not running? There we go. It's not. There we go. And then they start dying. Okay, good. Okay. All right, so yeah, you want them to die when their lifetime's up. Wind, you can have them blowing slightly. If we add to the Z direction, like 500, then you can see it's kind of cool. Actually, looks really neat. I kind of dig that a lot. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's not a gas grenade now, but it's pretty cool. I like that. Adding curl. Yeah, there it is. I was gonna say that looked like somebody's adding curl noise to it. You see they're slightly moving there. Turbulence. Turbulence looks pretty good, actually. Just up this a little bit. There we go. I like that. I like that. Looks nice. If you have no noise, then they just all just move in a straight line. It's kind of boring. Curl noise is kind of fun to play with. You know, kind of do this kind of thing. Although the visual artifact, and we'll see the sine waves in it. Okay. Noise quality. Okay. Drag. Drag will slow the particles down. So if you turn off drag, then oh, interesting. They're not even moving now. They're very slowly moving. Huh. Rotation, lift, rotation, scale sprite size. So as they get towards the end of their lifetime, you can see these. You can see that the particles are actually changing in size, right? They're kind of getting bigger and smaller. The reason for that is because it's evaluating along this path here. So the sprite size is actually a graph that's telling it how big it should be. Scaling color, you can see that the colors also change. It kind of fades away as it gets towards the end. As it gets towards the end of its life, it shrinks and it fades away. It's kind of a cool effect. I don't think we need to mess with that at all. That looks pretty neat. And it's based on the age of the particle, and it's based on the age of the particle. So they have a lifespan, and when they hit the edge of the end of the lifespan, they shrink and fade away. So it looks nice rather than vanishing. Solve forces and velocity you have to have on there. If you have any sort of particle effects and things like that, you have to have these solve forces and velocity. If you don't, if you have that turned off, then these things will give you a error. And like there's that fix thing that I was telling you about. So you can click fix, and then you can see it turns it back on for you. So there's a lot of mistakes you can make in Niagara that a lot of them it'll just like be like, oh, you need to do this. And then you just click fix. And it'll fix them. Sprite renderer. So this is the sprite. A sprite in 3D graphics is like a 2D picture that always faces you. And so default sprite material, we could use ash material. and now these things are like floating squares of ash wood that are always facing us. Note that as we rotate around, you don't ever see like the backside of them, right? They're always facing towards you. So here we have a gas grenade creating small 1 centimeter tiles of wood. No, it's probably not what we wanted. So we put that back the way it was before, and just have a nice, circular. It's like a weird Minecraft mod. Yeah, it's like when you break something in like the Minecraft things. Yeah. Okay, alignment automatic, always facing you. Yeah, I don't know why you messed that. By default, it's just a picture. No matter how you rotate, the picture is always facing you. So I've made particle clouds with like happy faces on them before. It's kind of fun. That's gonna. Okay, so let's see how we can trigger this. So we've got this gas cloud, supposedly. Where is it? There it is. 4 meters by 4 meters. We'll see if that's a good size. I don't know if it is or not. We'll see. So we've got this Niagara emitter here. And generally speaking, what you do with a Niagara emitter is you put it into a Niagara system. So what is a Niagara system? A Niagara system, as you can tell from the icons here, is just a bunch of Niagara emitters. But it has some extra stuff in it as well. So we're going to make a Niagara system, and we're going to make just a new system from the selected emitters. Do I have it selected? I don't. So I'm going to right-click on this and choose Create Niagara System out of it. That's the easiest way of doing it. And so now I've got Sparkly Fog Any System, which I'm going to rename to underscore, if I can rename it, underscore NS. So NS for Niagara System. So I've got Sparkly Fog Niagara Emitter and Sparkly Fog Niagara System. It's kind of like when we imported audio, we have a sound wave for footstep, and then we've also got a sound cue. The sound cue is like the better version of a sound wave. It's not exactly accurate, but it's close enough. So if you have a Niagara emitter, that is one particle effect, and you can drag it out into the world if you want. Can we not? No. We can drag out the system into the world, though. And so if we just play the game, you can kind of see what it's going to look like if we... all right, dude. Oh, I missed it because it's not looping anymore, right? And so let me just get over here and take a look at it. So this is what our gas grenade effect looks like. That's pretty good. I feel like that's actually like a pretty legitimate gas grenade. And then you can see it kind of clears up slowly. I like that. That's did you just walk through that door, dude? Yeah, that's breaking verisimilitude. Okay, so yeah, a Niagara emitter, you basically can't do anything with it. You want it to be inside of a Niagara system. So if we double click on the Niagara system, you can see that it is basically what we had before with this little Niagara system thing attached to it. And this is where you can do things like put in parameters and things like that, so that when the grenade explodes, it can control how big the cloud you get, or change the colors and things like that. So all of this is still the same Niagara emitter that we had before, but you can have multiple Niagara emitters in it. So a Niagara system can have multiple Niagara emitters in it. That's why the icon looks like this, right? Where you got 1 star for the emitter and 3 stars for the system. The system can combine multiple emitters together. And basically, the Niagara system is where that's the level at which you work, usually. Okay, so we want the grenade BP over here. And so the grenade's going to grenade, and we're spawning an emitter. So rather than spawning an emitter, okay, that's the old way, right? We're not going to do that anymore. What we're going to do instead is we are going to spawn a system. So a system is very similar to spawn emitter, but it's different. Spawn emitter is the old Cascadia system. Okay, we're not going to spawn an emitter. We're going to spawn a system at location. That. And just plug that in there and plug that in there. And so now, instead of an explosion, what we're going to get is don't need rotation, don't need still, auto destroy, auto activate. All that looks fine. Okay, so basically, instead of the explosion, we're going to get a gas effect, right? And probably instead of we should probably have like some sort of like, you know, kind of gas grenade kind of thing. So let's see how this works. Okay. I'm going to throw a grenade. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Did not get... Maybe if I selected... Okay, now maybe if I selected Sparkly Fog, that would have been a good idea. It's very anticlimactic. Okay. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And there we go. So now we've got a gas grenade that we can use to blind people. It's not going to blind the monsters, unfortunately. But if I... Oh, I died. Jeez. Here. Let's kill you. Yeah, so we'd have to do something to, like, get it to affect the grenades. But you can see I can now spawn... grenades. Smoke grenades are going up everywhere. I'll lag the system out with all of my... I died again. Did I really die again? Yeah. And I'm just going to lag the system out with all of the gas that I've put down. And you can see that over time, it'll clear on its own. Okay, alright, okay. Oh my gosh. This game is so hard. Who wrote this game? There you go. So it's the gas is thick enough that, you know, you barely see in it. And it'll eventually kind of clear up and resolve. Nice. Fun little gas grenade effect. The only thing I'd add to this is just changing the sounds. It goes shh. You know, one of those kinds of things instead of an explosion. I mean, I guess the explosion makes sense. So yeah, fine with that. Okay, so I got like 10 minutes left. So let's do one more emitter. Let's do FX, Niagara emitter, new emitter, and let's do a... That's an explosion. That's a good explosion, right? The particles move outwards. Like a flamethrower. Flying leaves. Yeah, let's do a flamethrower. Okay. That's always fun. Okay, so I'm going to call this guy flamethrower underscore NE. And we're going to save all, of course. And I'm going to come up here. And instead of it coming up upwards as a fountain, I want it to come out sideways, right? I don't know if it's going to make a difference because I could probably rotate it, but... okay. So for emitter spawn, got nothing. Again, we just go through these tabs one at a time. Life cycle mode, we do not want infinite. We want it to be once, maybe. Yeah, I guess. Spawn rate, let's kick that up to 500 or something. Initialize particle, lifetime, seems fine. We can change that maybe later. Color, we want this to be a flamethrower, so this is going to be just a bright purple? No. There we go. Like a reddish orange for a flamethrower, maybe. None of these look very good. I guess. Okay. Alright. So Right, and then at the top here, make this GPU compute sim, and we're gonna make this fixed. Save. Initialize particle, lifetime, seems fine to me. Color, mass, whatever, uniform sprite size. Might make it smaller. That looks like a flamethrower, kind of. Initialize particle, shape location, sphere radius. That's the starting location? Oh, it's a very tiny radius that's spawning out of. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 20 is fine. So that's like the width of my flamethrower hose. Maybe a little bit too big. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. That doesn't matter. Add velocity. Okay. So the thing is coming up in the Z direction. We want it to go forwards in the X direction, right? So basically, we want a flamethrower that is just going to shoot forwards, and gravity on it kind of looks a little weird. Kind of looks a little bit dopey. I mean, it's realistic, but it's kind of dopey looking. And we can try messing with this cone angle. It's a wider cone, narrower cone. I don't know what I like. Yeah, maybe I like that. I don't know. You have two different cones, one for the so you can have like the center part a little bit more likely than the others. That looks okay. Yes. Speed. I'm gonna up that. Looks better, like for a weapon. It seems kind of lame for a weapon to just kind of like flop down like that. Okay. Even up the velocity a little bit more, so you don't have quite so much just dripping down like that. Spray out a little bit more. Okay. Particles, maybe I'll make the particles a little bit bigger too. Sprite size 5 to 10, maybe. We'll fill it out a little bit more. Doesn't look quite as good though. Maybe. Okay. I'll leave that for now. Lifetime. I guess it's fine. Okay, add velocity and cone. Arguably okay with that. So particle state, kill them when they have the in their lifetime. Fine. Gravity. So I'm actually going to reduce gravity. I don't. If I turn off gravity, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. But I think maybe like just a little bit of gravity, just pulling them down a little bit, just feels like a little bit more realistic. Like there's a little bit of mass to them. You're getting sucked down. See, the trouble with having like full on like gravity is that it just like it's like you're shooting somebody with like a water hose that's not very strong. It's like, you know, that doesn't feel very weapon like, you know. Like, oh, it's fire, but it's like just dripping out like that. So if we can make the gravity go up like that, which is kind of cool, honestly. Like the heat from it is like causing the flames to rise. That's kind of a cool effect. I don't know. No gravity is just straight ahead. It's probably how I do it in a video game. But having like maybe a little bit of an updraft almost feels kind of cool to me. Like the heat is like heating the ground, and so there's a little bit of, you know, air blowing the fire up. It's kind of like that. Maybe I'll leave that in, see how that feels. Okay, drag, turn off drag, and then they'll travel at the same speed. Maybe I want that. Maybe I don't. So you see, with a lot of drag, like the particles slow down like immensely. And that feels weird to me. Maybe a small amount of drag. So a little bit faster at the beginning. Color, you can see the colors fade away. Solve forces, and yeah, of course, we gotta have that. Speed limit. Everything's exceeding the speed limit, so let's turn that off. And the sprite renderer doing just dots again. Okay, so we got here. I guess I like this. And just to make sure we're doing it once. Okay. So I've got here flamethrower emitter, save, everybody's saved, we're all saved. Okay. So we're going to come back into the world, and from the flamethrower Niagara effect, we're going to right click and choose create Niagara system. And down here, I'm just going to rename this. Come on, let me click, thank you. NS, save, double click on it, and we don't have time to dig into parameters, but we could add parameters here that control things like the speed of the flame and the colors and things like that, which is a lot of fun. We got our flamethrower NS. Close that out. Probably close all you guys out now as well. And so I guess what we could do is just add a new weapon, maybe, or maybe weapon 1 can finally be something useful. Right, because right now weapon 1 is just this hit scan weapon, right? And we're just using the draw debug for the laser right on it. It's kind of lame. Maybe we can make this our the flamethrower. And so for that, we could just do a shorter distance hit scan. It just instantly damage the person. Left click mouse attack. If we are on fire gun, where okay, there you go. We're doing line trace. We can turn off the draw debug. Actually, let's leave it on for 1 second, because the range we're going to cut way down for a flamethrower. Probably a range of 10 meters is good. And so let's just leave draw debug on for a second. And click. You can see that's about the range of our flamethrower. About that far. That sounds about right to me. Okay. And probably should be the kind of thing we hold down. I don't know. Just go with this for now. So we're going to now turn off the draw debug, because we're actually going to have a particle effect on it now. So we are going to apply damage. So we are going to spawn system, not spawn emitter anymore. We're going to spawn system at location. And location is going to be gun shoot point. Here's location. Get world loc. Plug it in there. And we are going to do a flamethrower NS like that. So basically, now let's try that. See how that goes. I don't know if it's oriented the right way, but click. Ah, yeah. It is always coming out oriented in the X direction. Okay, let's not do that. All right, so what we're going to do instead is add a Niagara system up here. Niagara system component. And this will be called flamethrower that. And if we go into the viewport, we can see where the flamethrower, and we're just going to have it come right out of our chest here, out of our little Iron Man chest thingy there. And so rather than getting the gun shoot point, we are going to, instead of spawning a new system, we're going to say flamethrower Activate. Activate. There it is. Okay. Reset. Okay. Let's try that. Okay. Did not spawn anything. Niagara system. Maybe if we set it, that would be helpful. Flamethrower in this. Classic. And we could probably attach it to a socket if we wanted to. That would be kind of cool, but okay. Let me get my face out of there. Alright. So now we are spraying fire out of the chest. And it won't reset. Let's try turning that on there. Let's try that. So I could just sit there and spray fire out of my chest all day long. It looks pretty rad, honestly. The duration's probably a bit too long. And the fire particles actually aren't doing any damaging at all. What's happening is that when I click, it's doing a little hit scan. That's too high up. It's coming out of my neck or out of my shoulder. Let's drop this down a little bit. Is it coming out of? Okay, no, whatever. All right. So it looks like I'm damaging, and probably I can modify this. But you can see that just I'm spraying fire everywhere. The actual damaging is from the click, and there's like a little hidden hit scan in there from when I'm clicking. I should probably change this to do a repeated over 2 seconds kind of thing, where it's just going to be damaging everybody in front of me. But I'm out of time. Maybe we can do this. Okay. Argon spell. Sorry, now it's doing a line trace. We want to do really is maybe even like a cylinder trace or sphere trace. No slopes for it. Or we can just ignore it and just leave it like this for now. That's good enough, I think. So the point of today anyway is to do the Niagara system. So we have one weapon here that is the flamethrower, and then another one where I can toss gas grenades around. It's weird. Why didn't I get gas? There we go. I died. So I should probably change the flamethrower so that it just keeps flaming as I hold down attack, and then just have it damage every frame that somebody's in front of me. Grenades. And there you go. That's Niagara. It's pretty cool stuff. There's a lot more to it than this. I've done a lot of neat little special effects over the years using Niagara. There's just like you can make your entire career just doing Niagara effects. Really, like it's that cool. But I think that's enough. I think it's enough to go on for now. So that'll be your homework for next time. Just make 2 Niagara effect systems and just tie them to different weapons and things like that. You can make an explosion. You can make the confetti thing, which I've never seen before. All sorts of things. Sky's the limit. Have fun with it. This is a game dev class. You should enjoy game deving. So that's it for today. Thanks for coming out, everyone. See ya.